Hi guys, thank you for stopping by. My name is Jermaine, aka Jay, and welcome to my channel. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe.
Previously on Jay's Big Chat.
I feel like a lot of people go into uni who don't need to go into uni, right? I feel like there's so many people who go to university and the idea of, well, it's for the experience, it seems like the next logical step.
It depends what you study. I think it depends.
Well, there's hundreds of courses, there's thousands of courses, isn't
If you're
there?
going for like a miscellaneous course, then maybe you shouldn't be going to uni.
But you see, that's the thing. That will never be said to an individual. It doesn't matter because every single course, like you would.
What is this like miscellaneous?
So,
course?
What would you class
I would-
as miscellaneous course?
Okay, I would say a course that.
Say arts, go on.
For example, if you're going into a course and there isn't a possibility of there being work afterwards, I would categorize that as a miscellaneous course.
Give me an example, because
Oh, I don't want to offend people, but an example, if it's like, I don't know, I don't want to say, but if it's a course that, okay, I don't see a lot of jobs, it's not a big job market for this course, I mean, should I be spending 40, 50 grand of debt?
but is that anything that's not considered academic?
No, I mean, it could be anything. It could be sports science. It could be anything. If there's a job at the end of it, I mean, good for you. That's the goal, to get a job.
All right. I think also no matter what you've studied, it's the whole process as well. Because for me, in the sense of that, if you've studied so I've done a degree, so the 5 years of doing that degree has shown that I can actually work through something all the way to the end. So that's helped me for my business as well. So it's not even so much the certificate that I got doesn't benefit what I've done.
I see, but there's a lot of people that have degrees that have done nothing with them.
But is that their fault? Is that the market?
Well, I mean,
The market, yeah.
You can put them blame
No,
on someone.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. You have to know the market. It's your
But
responsibility.
that's
Yeah,
if having
but
it depends if the job is your goal.
But it has to be your goal. Why else?
Why would the job just be your job? But he just said his was business.
Yeah.
No, but then
Some
that
people
is the
don't
job,
know.
is it not?
But people don't know what they want to do. Some people don't know what they want to do. They go do a degree and then come out and be like, I want to do the complete opposite to
But
this.
then again, it's responsibility. If you don't know, then maybe you shouldn't be doing that.
But then that also stems back to Jay's point of having to make certain decisions at 18, even at 21. Do you know how many times my daughter was like 20, Mom, what do you think I should do with this? Should I do this? I'm like, girl, but then I understand it, and that's why myself and her dad are there to be the guide. Like, I was like, if she stops asking me questions, I'll be worried. You understand? So, and I think even at like my age, 40 odd, I'm like, damn it. I was literally came home yesterday and I said to my daughter, I don't know if I should still be doing this thing that I'm doing, and I might actually pack it in. And then I don't know if I'm shirking it because I know there's a lot more to get involved in. Yeah. And it is the self-taught process as well, which for me, because I have other things going on, it's just managing it. And so, but then with all of that, I've had to spend a lot of time thinking about self-educating myself and my self-awareness. Who am I? Where do I actually go? Where do I belong? What am I supposed to be doing? And it's taken me this long to work it out. My daughter and other children and other people, adults who have had that security and had that thing from younger, you can see the difference between them and other people who haven't. And there's the thought process, their actions. Yeah, they may go uni, they go for a jolly, whatever. Like 50 grand, they'll pay off. They may not. It'll get written off as far as they're concerned. But you can see there's so many different circumstances that actually do mold your education process and your whole life process thereafter. Do you see? I mean, from the day that you're put in a nursery or wherever you're put in, and a lot of for me now has been self-educated. All these books, the entrepreneur books, and every entrepreneur thing I say, you need to educate yourself. Constantly be reading. I don't like reading, so I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Because I'm always tired. So it's like audio book. Because I know that I still believe that there's potential that I haven't tapped in within myself, and I'm like, okay, let's keep it moving. And I might make a decision tomorrow about the decision I'm trying
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? And I'm like,
I would say the biggest thing is being aware of the things you need to do at least. I mean, because as soon as you're not aware of the bad things and the mistakes, that's when you're in trouble, I think.
yeah, definitely. You
Yeah.
have to learn from your
But now
mistakes.
Well, I think
this
that's
comes
alone.
with- That awareness comes with time, where it won't be initially there. And for some people, it may take longer. Some people take it
Yeah.
quicker.
Yeah.
Like some people.
Sometimes
off
it's
the
not
rip-
until you look back that you
Yeah,
realise
you
you
have to
learned
look
from
at
it.
That's
yourself
right.
objectively.
You see, so this is why you know, like when it comes to education, it's such a controversial topic because everyone sees education in a different light. Now, going back to the start when you mentioned about parenting and being the first teacher, because there is no rule book on, you know, how to be a like in terms of like parenting. There's no rule book on education in terms of like the do's and the don'ts, as it were, like a rule book that people must follow. Like just like you can go out the road now and there's rules and regulation. Like you got to follow this roads. The signs are all there. You know, everyone's going in the right directions. Now with the education system, I feel like because there's so many different people, and again, I don't know if you guys are thinking. I'm actually looking back in my classes growing up, and seeing the amount of personalities, seeing the amount of characters that were within that class, right? Being taught in one style, right? It was almost, you know, I'm all of education, and, you know, as I said, I'm just thinking poor teacher, because the teacher's teaching in that one style that maybe 17, 18 students might grip onto and say, yep, this is the style. I really like education. I'm really academic. I really like sitting down in a classroom environment and doing this, where you might have seven kids within that class who just raring to get out in PE because they just want to release some steam because, you know, they can't sit down in the classroom environment and retain information more than 20 minutes before they start buzzing. Whereas you might get another 5 individuals who just go off on a creative tangent and just think about something complete. Do you know what I mean? It's
So how do you manage that?
But that's the question.
How does the teacher manage that?
That's a very big question, and that's what I'm saying. One individual can't.
Yeah.
Which is why people end up falling sort of when they put things in sets. The children who are raring to go outside will end up in the bottom set because they just don't engage in that way.
And that's why you have to ask yourself, what is the educational system set up for?
I would say it's set up for. I mean, it's like a conveyor. Like
Yes,
it's a factory.
It's churning people
Yeah,
out.
you churn through,
Production line.
and then people that fall at the wayside, you deal with them later, and the ones that are successful, they become taxpayers. I think it's
Facts.
it's hard truth, but that's pretty much.
But then
what it
the
boils down
education
to.
system is also a tick box exercise as well, because remember they've got stats. They've got to meet certain things. You've now got the academies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
academies are excluding children that are making their stats look bad. You know.
That's exactly what they do, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't understand the education system. When there's that, he said academy. What does that mean?
Yeah,
It's still
I
in
know.
school. You're still taking. You know what I
But
mean?
isn't the funding
What
more
does it-
privatized?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it might, is it not government funded?
Yeah, it's
It's government funded, but it was
But it's,
it's
What
it's
does it
privately controlled.
that's it. But isn't it? Like, I
Okay.
thought it started from like the community saying that they want to start managing the way that
their schools run?
are
My
run.
daughter
I
went to
don't know.
academy. I do not know any
Yeah.
of this. Same kind of secondary school I went to back in the day.
I think
You
there is one
understand?
near my house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've turned so many
I
across
actually read
London.
it. I was like, what does academy mean to anything else? Do you know what I mean? Or what did I go to? I went to first they called it a technical school. Then they called it a grammar school. What? We're still
so
in
the
the
grammar
same
school-
school.
the
We're
grammar
still the
school-
same
I
children.
thought technical would be like engineering and
Yeah,
stuff.
but I thought that's more college. The engineering.
This is
Yeah,
what,
that's what I did in
we
college.
had,
I
it
did
was like
engineering.
technical school, then grammar. Why? Grammar
Yeah.
is English, technology is you know what I mean? Like which one?
But if you remember,
Yeah.
grammar was the English. So working class children did not go to grammar schools. It was middle class children that went to grammar schools,
Okay.
and then you had the ordinary schools that working class children go to.
Okay.
And that's almost like your Oxfords and your Cambridge. Only
Yeah.
people.
Because I had to do an
grammar
entry exam to get
Yes,
in.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I was the only black one in my year
Yeah.
for a long
So
time.
what
Yeah.
it's mainly taught in a grammar school, is it?
I don't think it's what is mainly taught, it's who's in there.
Oh, so
yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
literally grammar school. It's just
Nah,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
it's
no, it's
really-
an elite
and
school.
yeah, it's an
Alright,
elite
alright.
school. You have
Yeah.
higher thingies, whatever,
alright,
and a lot of the people that were around me, they experienced certain things, and I always got this later on in life. Was when I used to do geography. I love geography. Got A's in history, dropped it for geography. Everyone was like, "Why are you doing that?" Because I loved it. And you'd read stuff about Oxbow Lake or a deciduous tree or whatever, right? My family ain't taking me to no forest or no something to go look it. However, their people are going camping,
Yeah.
all kinds, you know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
going off to ski in Switzerland. I was the only one that never went skiing. The whole
Oh,
thing.
no.
Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, again, it took me a while to understand what the Oxbow Lake was. I was sitting on the train going wherever, how much years later, that's what it is. Do you get me? And But then the good thing about geography as well, in turn, was that we got to do field trips. So we used to go to caves and God knows what. Other than that, I'm not knowing what a stalactite and a stalagmite really looks like. You see it in a
It's
grey
imprinted in your
black-
brain though, isn't it?
Yeah. I love it.
All them terms.
I was going to say showing up a little bit.
You know what I mean? I remember that.
Yeah, I love geography. I'm not gonna lie. So and that's the thing in terms of the enhancement of education outside of the actual system and the school or the building or whatever it is. Is all right. Oh, we studied thingy today. Oh, cool. Let's go to the park and look at.
You see, I think
different leaves.
I feel like
blah, blah, blah.
that's where, like, speaking from my school experience, right? That's where we lacked, because in science, I feel like I would have enjoyed science a lot more if we actually did a lot more practical stuff. Like, I would probably say we done throughout my 5 years in secondary school, we probably done about maybe 2 experiments.
Really?
Yeah.
We did loads.
Well, we did.
We did.
Yeah.
The
I kind of
Bunsen
Like-
burner.
Yeah, we
But,
did.
but Bunsen the Bunsen burner sat in the back cupboard for a very long time, right? And that was it.
Special occasion.
Especially when that Bunsen burner came out. When that, and that Bunsen.
So what? Do you not like use centrifuge machines and stuff like that?
So what?
That's why. That's the difference between
Grandma.
a technical.
My mum actually revealed to me only years after I left primary school that one of my teachers at primary school offered her to tutor me privately if I wanted to go, so that I could go to a grammar school. She would give me private free tuition, and my mum said if Hayley wants to go to that school, if she doesn't mention it, and she hasn't, no thank you.
Yeah.
But this one teacher for free
Wow.
to target me to a grammar school
And
so I
I
could sit
take
my
it.
exam.
I take it you didn't ever mention it.
I didn't want.
You didn't mention the grammar school.
No, I didn't. I didn't even think of it. It wasn't one of the schools in the area I lived in.
Right. Okay.
It was not one of the schools. A few girls did apply. They were of a certain.
At
Caliber.
this stage, would you say it was something that you probably would have wanted to do?
I was academic. I liked school, but this school was just not. It was not in my
It's not on
brain.
the radar.
Everyone from my school applied for the same 2 schools, really.
No, what I
And
mean,
that's where
would you have wanted it to be put in your radar? Would you have wanted to say, hey, this is an option, we can help you out to get you here?
Oh, I don't know. That's me trying to think about my brain as a child.
Yeah, exactly. How would you know that which school you want to go to anyway? Like, you're not going to be sitting there reading the stats and that. You'll be the
I
we're reading
mean,
Beaver and
as
Daddy.
an-
You see what I mean?
No, I mean, as an adult looking back.
Yeah.
would
Do I
you-
think it would have?
Yeah.
No, because how I was, my mum always said whatever school I go to, I would do well because I was that
Okay.
child.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
naturally academically inclined, which is why she didn't push me that way. Because you think, to me, I don't know, if someone told you that they believe your child could go to this grammar school, which only a certain group of children, you would take the opportunity.
Yeah, I would.
But my mum also, they do believe in giving me the choice. So
True,
if I didn't want to go there, they still wouldn't. They would still pick the better schools of the others. But it was my choice. It's always been my choice.
It's like you mentioned better school of the others, and I think this was a big thing recently.
Yeah, that was based on.
Yeah, this was a big thing recently with Ofsted and all the ratings of schools and so forth, and the findings that actually, when it came to like Ofsted inspections and all the rest of it, that those naughty kids, those underachievers, would be sort of expelled from the school.
They all went to the same 2 schools in my area.
Yeah.
And actually, I didn't get my first choice. What I got offered was one of these other schools. Mum was like, "You're not going there."
Yeah.
But these 2 schools they're now academies. So where have the children gone. So the kids have got expelled or went to these two schools, one of them in particular, but they're now academies, and we know that them academies would then expel the children who don't behave in class and don't get the grade. So where are they now?
Who's going to pay for these creative people to what will they do?
To be creative.
Yeah, what would they do?
I think
There's only so many photographers and drama students and stuff.
Would you be able to say that for almost every field? There's too many IT technicians.
No,
too
not in
many-
this country. Not in this country. There's a huge shortage of engineers, doctors, and IT professions. That's why we've got so many people coming from. I don't want to sound like that type of person, but that's why we have our recruitment is going abroad, because they can't find the people here. So I understand, but people don't want to study science and do IT.
But I think some of that doctor science stuff and things like that, they're always cutting investment. They're always cutting research for all these professors and doctors and so on. And some of them have literally wanted to stay in this country and had to go elsewhere to go and do their research or to be invested in. And this is the thing, is whenever the government chooses, something's going to be flavour of the month that we'll wholeheartedly invest in.
In the public sector, but in private sector it's a little bit different. It's not really government control, it's whatever the market dictates. If the market needs more engineers, more IT professions, then that's where the jobs are. But in the public sector, it's based on funding. Public's based on funding and what's available.
I think there's also a thing about education where certain cultures have steered and still steering their young ones to go and study
100%.
science, maths, blah blah blah, which has led to oversaturation. Way too many lawyers. Way too many. Do you see what I mean? There's too many of them. And a lot of them, not a lot of them, some of them have been forced into it, and some of them are passionate about it. Even when they go through the same route, the ones that are passionate about it are still, having to deal with the ones who are forced to do it, and they do it really well, and even their parents are probably still forcing them to continue it because of status and God knows what.
So you go to school, you're in a room, you're saturated with different 30 kids, one teacher. You're not getting a chance to enjoy a subject because you're not getting
100%.
Because some children just need that spark, and if they never get the opportunity to have that spark lit, then because there are some children that naturally, I think, they know they like IT. Because they've had the opportunity in their life to be able to, but there are other children who need to have that one opportunity. It could be one comment from a teacher or just one lesson one day, and if that never happens,
that's it.
For me and Jermaine, we've always been into computers. We've always been into, and it's things that.
So how did you get into it? How did you? Where did that come?
I would say it started from my cousin. He would bring me like parts like lights, LEDs, and stuff, and then my brother would do electronics in high school. I was a few years younger than him, and he'll bring stuff. I'm like, okay, that's really cool. I want to mess around with that. And then my mum bought a computer. We'd open it up to her. She didn't like that, but but we did it anyway. And then that's where it started, because it's like, okay, I'm gonna look this up online. What does this do? How does this work? How do I fix this? And it's it just snowballs. You get a passion from it.
But it was introduced to you.
It was brought to you.
You see, again, within kind of what Marvyn said about the fact that only until you reach 18 that you found your love for IT, as it were. And what do you do now?
I'm a software developer now.
Okay, software developer. When I was in secondary school, I hated IT as well. What they call ICT.
I hated that.
And they called that
Excel spreadsheets.
Oh my days, right?
I can make a
Sorry, trainer. Sorry.
I left school not knowing how to use Excel.
Oh my!
make a really good PowerPoint.
Don't worry,
I
got you.
And the clip arts and whatnot.
It was so boring. It was so uninteresting. It was the ICT class was the should I fall asleep now class. Do you know what I mean? It was like.
Do you guys need counselling?
Like, honestly, it was so bad. It was only.
Enjoyment goes to die.
Yeah, honestly.
Do they still teach the same in IT, because now the generations of children are actually born into computers. There are some things
it.
they
No,
just know how to
it's-
do.
Do you know what? Yeah.
You just know how to use Word.
You
You,
know
just know
what?
how to
No,
use
I-
Word.
They don't know IT.
They do not know.
They
What?
don't know IT at
But
all.
on what level?
What I
is
would
it?
say,
they
what
don't.
happens is
They
like,
don't.
for example, my brother, like, he knows how to switch on his PlayStation.
This is a younger brother because you mentioned a brother earlier.
Yeah, my younger brother. So
Okay.
he knows how to switch on his PlayStation. He knows, but he doesn't know the details. He doesn't.
He knows the
know-
front end.
Yeah, he doesn't know what happens behind.
Yeah.
Underneath in the actual hardware.
But
Does he
that's
need to
not what
know?
they teach you in IT.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, they
that's
actually
what I'm
don't
saying.
teach you the-
That's what I'm saying. Like the majority of kids nowadays are becoming consumers. They're
Mm.
not becoming. Let me understand the details. They're being fed like so much information. It's like, hang on a second. What am I actually being fed, and do I understand it?
But I thought
It's
there was
not very-
something going where they were making sure that all the kids had that. Was it the cherry pie?
Oh, the Raspberry Pi.
Raspberry Pi.
The cherry pie.
Raspberry Pi and all this coding is skipping a whole heap of stuff
Yeah,
around
yeah,
IT,
it
the
does
basics.
it does take a bit
And
of time.
even
Yeah,
like
it
we've
does.
been working with a lot of, I work with a lot of interns. They come through. Oh, okay, switch on the computer. Okay, great, you done that. We set up your email account. We need you to do this, this, and this spreadsheet. Blah blah. Baffled, absolutely baffled.
Yeah.
Every single one of them are like, "What's going on with IT?"
Maybe I took in more from that lesson than I realised.
Yeah,
I just assumed I knew how to do it. And that's why I can't use
they're
Excel.
like 16 and 18 or whatever. They love Snapchat. They love every
Yeah.
single
Oh, yeah,
device
yeah.
on
It's
the
actually gone the
planet,
other way,
right?
where they've got
But
too
they
many-
do not know how to do the basics that will get them into a job
Yeah.
or even to do uni and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Word, they don't know how to do it.
They
And
become like, I've got products. I'm going to sell it to you. It's not. This product that I'm selling to you is not going to get you a job.
we had to do RE over IT. Huh?
Do you know
What are
what?
you talking
No, I
about?
think
And
I had
this
to
is
do-
literally this year we've had these conversations in the past couple of months, and I'm like, oh god,
do
we're
that.
gonna get another intern that's gonna come and do this.
I remember in school, like some of our friends, like we used to like swap Windows XP installation disks and everything. It's like it was just that thing. If you had a computer,
Yeah.
you needed Windows, ask a friend to burn your disk.
Yeah.
Or you just like I don't know. I think it was just a thing that people were just like into it. It was a bit more.
Yeah.
But then it sounds like you found your people, your peers, your group
Yeah.
that that you could.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've never shared a disc with.
Since 2006.
You see, but the thing is, right? So everything that I'm hearing so far on like the education type of front, like when you're talking about being self-educated, being educated by your teachers, and also by your parents, right? It seems to me like education needs to be a wholesome, like there needs to be so many counterparts surrounding
I
education.
fell into what I did.
You fell into-
Basically,
you fell
because
into-
I
you
fell
did?
into it because it was natural.
Yeah.
When we were talking about going to university, just going through that education process, that's what it teaches you. Because you're going to have those difficult times. You're going to have that, the exams, now you're going to get through the exams. You know? So it gives you that resilience, you know, and when life itself, those challenges carry on. And because you've experienced it, it also hopefully sets you up for that, you know.
No.
I think education was. I think someone made the point where education more than academics. I think education well needs to be life skills. So a lot of people wouldn't be able to tell you what government is, like the definition of government, the definition of politics, what taxes are, stuff like that. So there's life skills as well, how to cook. I mean, you got food tech.
What is a mortgage?
What is a mortgage?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
These are things that I had to learn myself.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like when you go into university or any education, it's like you're expected to know these things, but you don't. You don't know.
So what? So yeah, whose duty is it?
I mean, quite frankly, I think it boils down to your caregiver. At a certain age, obviously, if you're a grown man, 25, then obviously it boils down to you. But
Yeah.
if you're 14 or whatever, I think these are life skills that should have been given.
Don't you think that you're taught in the schools
Yeah.
as well? Because
I would say-
look, think about this. Yeah,
I'd say
they
parents, to be
teach.
honest.
But there's parents, but there's mathematics. Like when they start teaching me about cosine, this sign, and it's like I'm not going to use that.
Yeah, I remember.
But if you can teach me how
Yeah.
to work out, payments from my credit cards and interest rates and so forth, to me that's.
But then I believe they don't teach you these skills on purpose. Because people don't even understand. Even on an advert, people don't understand what APR means. Some of them say 1,000%. If they taught you what that meant in school, you wouldn't take out that loan. I feel like they need us to be paying money back. It's how banks make money. You need to have credit card debt. So for everyone who handles their credit card debt properly, pays. All you have to do is pay a minimum charge. Get a credit card with 0 interest and pay your minimum charge. But they don't want to teach you that because they need people to be paying interest, and I think it's on purpose.
Who would you say needs that though? Because I think that.
But it's one way that they make money. Otherwise, a bank. That's how banks make money. They lend you money and you pay back more than they gave you. That's how a bank makes its money.
No, I get that. What I'm saying is, it might not be down to a teacher.
But it would have to be
The education.
an actual subject. Mortgages, credit cards, AP. It would have to be
financial.
not one teacher just telling you.
Functional mathematics that
Functional
you're gonna be able
mathematics.
to use.
You know what? I remember
Integers.
this came up a lot in school where we were like with the example, like we were learning about equations and integers and stuff like that, and you would hear, "I'm never going to use this in my life." And the teacher wouldn't say anything. He wouldn't say, actually, hang on a second, if you want to be an engineer, if you want to be a scientist...
They can't even tell you how you're going to use it.
I didn't, maybe I should have known. I'm going to be real, I didn't know what an engineer was going through school. Like, I knew what a doctor was, I knew what a scientist was. An engineer, I've heard of it.
Don't know what they do.
It was only until I left, studied electrical engineering, I was like, okay, now I get it. Now I know what... So all these things, most of the stuff I learned after leaving school. So it was like, okay, I need to catch up. And you kind of like, actually, there was a value to this. It wasn't always the time. And it's like...
I'm going to throw a point you made earlier on. Wouldn't you say in that case you're the exception? The person who taught yourself?
I am the exception.
Okay.
Like, instead of teaching me about hearing your A from his 8 Ys, right? Teach me taxes, please. Like I know that's trivia. That's just trivia at this point, right? I know I'm not gonna use it. I'm not whatever.
So are you saying so people that are might not want to do academia, at least give me the information that I need
basic
to go forward in life and hit the ground running instead of like, I don't want to do this. I don't enjoy it. It makes me unhappy. Give me something that when I leave at 18, 16, so I can actually find out what I want to do. And in the meantime, I got a little to get me through.
You see, and I think that's my main thing when it comes to, the whole system. Find, your whole conveyor belt kind of system. You want to churn out the best of the best to, keep your society running. That's all good. It's all of those professions are needed, but I think it's a little bit wasteful and a little bit kind of degrading to say, okay, all those who fall through the cracks, you just kind of fight amongst yourself and which one of you make it and which one of you don't. I think
you kind of think some people might be afraid of, actually, if we give people an option not to do these very sometimes difficult or boring subjects, we might get even less people doing it.
I don't know. I think there'll always people.
I think some people would gravitate to it.
I think there'll always be people like you who would always want to do something to do with engineering or science and so forth. There'll always be people who would want to be teachers and individuals who love it.
What I would say is that we don't currently have enough. So given the opportunity not to do it entirely,
I don't know if we don't have enough based on the fact that there's not enough people studying it, or that there's just not enough people qualifying who study it.
There's
Because
not enough people studying it in universities.
that ratio, I'll have to need to see the stats, because I'm pretty sure that there will be a lot of individuals, like a lot. So all those who are within.
Not enough.
But I think it's like what you said though, in the sense that there's not enough information given to youngsters to think about the different things, like options. I remember days of options, and it was like that. Well, what do you want to do? We think that due to your education level, that maybe you should just go into retail, or and they set that, and they don't actually let you know what the possibilities are, or for you to actually start thinking beyond.
I remember it was the reason I went to college to study electrical, because an electrician came in from a local college. He came into one of our electronics class and said, actually, this is an option. and I went to that same college. I was taught by that same electrician. So if he didn't have come in, and if I didn't have seen him, I'm not sure what I would have done, in all honesty.
I was debating not going to college, but that's because, and I'm still the same now, I hate being told what to do. So when everyone was filling in their forms, I do the same thing now. If everyone goes to see one film, I go, I don't want to watch it. But they say something like really stubborn within me. So when everyone was applying for college, there was a point when I said, I don't want to go. And I remember my teacher being like, hey, Hayley. At the time, it's just something, I don't know what it is. So you went to college, really, I suppose, because of that one.
I was
already had that.
So he was already just piling on.
Kind of like, this is a big sign, go here. And I was like, oh, okay.
So I feel like that's when the first question is like, what is missing? I feel like there's that extra, whether it's, maybe it's not the teachers or the tutors position to do that, but maybe there's a separate institute that needs to work alongside the educational system to, as it were, support and guide. Both, because let's face it, right? We have some really good parents and we have some really bad parents, right? And the reason why we have really bad parents and in between the good and the bad is because different,
because they had bad
some of them, and because of life and because of life, because of the way that they were taught, or because of their upbringing, because of hard situations that they may have fallen upon, where they might not have been able to receive said education, right?
Even catchment areas from school that would change the direction of your whole future based on
100%.
I have a question for the people that went to uni. Did you, in the end, right after you got out of uni, the first question is, are you using a degree? And the second question is, did you find that experience helpful, either with the education or just the life experience that you got with it? Did you find it helpful?
I mean, I'm still in uni currently. Right. I would say, did I find it? I love university. I would say that I love being around different people, the interactions, and just I like that. Some moments are super stressful. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I would say it's something that I say in all it's a positive thing. But again, it depends who you are, and it comes down, because you don't have to go to uni the vast majority of things you might go to uni for. You don't have to go to uni. You can do an apprenticeship.
I didn't see you shaking your head there at the moment. Is there a reason for that?
No.
Because my experience with university, do I use the degree that's on my piece of paper? No. There are things now, like now that I'm trying to set up my own business, that I realise I only learn from being at uni. So like little things I'll do, my friend would be like, I wouldn't have thought to do that. Collating all the information together to make like a brand book. He wouldn't never have thought of and I realised I only thought of that because I studied it. Because I didn't have that passion. There are people who are passionate about graphic design who would read up on books on their own. For me, it was only because I was at uni, so it was valuable in that sense. But at the time when I was there, it was a roller coaster that I didn't enjoy. So I've left that I will not push my children to go to it unless they have a career that needs it. Because my parents didn't push me to, but at the same time, I'm the first person in my family to have gone. So my dad was telling people, Hayley's going to uni. That there was still a pressure without them ever telling me. Because there are some families and that's what they do. They go to uni. That wasn't in my family. So it was like a silent pressure to go. That now I'm out the other side. If my children don't want to go, I will not blame them, because
I would say
it was not for me.
I'd say that's probably the best advice you can give anyone.
I went to uni at 18, out of school. Thought I wanted to do accounting and finance. Realised I didn't, because I was always falling asleep and hated it. And we had to do like binary stuff. You went deeper, like observational, blah blah blah. And that's the thing about uni. People think it's some surface stuff. It's deep. So that one, quit it. Went to do pure geography. So, I can't do this one. Quit that. Went to a totally different institute down the road. Totally failed that because their whole system was based on the American system. Who knew? And then, I actually, it's funny, I left and went to study a PA course, personal assistant course.
Really?
And my mom actually phoned my best friend and she was like, I need to talk to you. Yesterday leaving school. What do you think about this? Like, she literally got her into the sitting room and said, what do you think about this? She's like, auntie, she's got to do what she needs to do, blah, blah, blah. And likewise, we both started accounting and finance. She went to do biology and stuck through it. I went to do stuff. Basically went to Westminster College to do this PA. So I went down, whatever, did it. And then, like when I was in college, I was like, oh, damn, I'm pregnant. Had the child. 2 years after having her, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling a bit brain dead. I need to activate myself or whatever. And I went back to uni, part-time. Did human geography and mass comms. Loved it. Why? Because everything that is happening now, we studied it. Yeah. Every single thing. Like the way we live, the way we communicate, all of it. And a lot of people tell me, oh, geography is rubbish and blah, blah, blah. I said, geography encompasses everything. It's actually a miscellaneous subject because it incorporates everything. Yeah. No, I'm not saying it in a bad way. No, I'm not saying it in a bad way. And it is that problem of what can I go into? You go into so many different things. We studied economics, we studied everything. Like even the way they've done the road layout, tile planning, all of that, we did that. Do you see what I mean?
That's why when you go into higher education, you go in because there's so much, whatever subject you study, you pretty much you're basically becoming the master of it. You have to understand pretty much everything about it. So that's why you need to enjoy it.
But I think sometimes it takes that time to understand it and have it in context. And funny enough, I've got some of my papers looking at them the other day. And because I did it with mass comms, I had film, culture, popular music, all of that. All my highest grades came from that. Not the majority, like my geography was, but the lower ones. All of the other stuff was from that. Because some of the geography, again, was historical, which was like, these are not my people, I don't get it. You see what I mean? It's not
and
absorbing.
Was it subjective as well, in the sense of that you had to follow what they needed rather than you giving your opinion?
No, actually, human geography is really brilliant because they get you to analyse things and they get you there's no wrong or right answer.
Right.
Okay. You can, like, we used to do things like, underground car park in Liverpool Street. Back in the day or whatever, it was a car park. Now, what would you propose it would be? You write it and you justify why. Do you see what I mean? Those kind of things. So that's why I love that as well. In terms of now, you're quite analytical and you can say, yes, this is good, or no, this is. But as long as you can justify it, you're good.
Yeah.
It's time to go down the geography path.
I know. I instantly in my head I start thinking, I know what I'll do.
That's brilliant. And I studied the development of Canary Wharf.
Yeah.
Like it was literally they celebrated their 30-year birthday, and I was like, 30 years ago I was walking around this place doing my geography report. Do you see what I mean?
Crazy.
And now I work in there 3 days a week or whatever.
Crazy.
So I'm like, I've actually one way is navigating myself into all of these certain areas. Without really knowing it. So So sometimes it is just that. Like at the end of the day, whatever you do, again, if you're able to justify it, and even if it's the wrong decision at the time, there's the learning behind it, and as long as you take that learning, pass it on to your children or whoever, because at the end of the day, it is that community thing. Whoever comes to you and says, I need help with making a decision or I need guidance, help them, support them, because that's where we are. Again, the educators as well. Like the teachers are what they do. But another thing I would say about education is the levels of stress that kids are being put on by their parents and as well as these institutions, to the point where some of them are taking their lives. And you have all these little kids and even adults, my daughter's stressed, she's this, we need to take her away on holiday to make sure she's relaxed in the half term before the exams. Education should be fun, right? Like
it should be
Because
fun
it has got to the point where some people, I know there was cases where children have taken ADHD medication so they can focus better when they to get to that point.
For statistics to be maintained. And
Yeah.
I say it's very. I mean, it depends on what level it is. If you're talking about primary school, then yeah, I don't think it should be that serious. But when you get past, when you're getting into high school and you're getting into that sort of, I think that's when it starts to get serious, because that's when you're literally just about to step out the door into real life and real life.
But I still think it should be fun.
Yeah, I question if that's necessary, right?
Well,
But-
real life isn't necessarily fun. It's a dog world where survival of the fittest,
For
almost.
sure.
I think it's about keeping it engaging, interesting,
Yeah.
rather than
Yeah.
you know.
Cutthroat.
What
But that's what I think is
What are you
meant
thinking?
being meant by fun, rather than like not fun like crayons all the time. but
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
that's it.
Yes, the thing that
Yeah.
stimulates and keeps them going, as opposed to they're stressed and going home and depressed. And why would you be depressed over education?
I think mental health is a big part to play, and
Yeah.
I think it's only recently it's been taken seriously, especially in universities and stuff like that. I know for me personally, like I started my first year, and then you have your struggles, but then it was only until like someone has actually said to you, actually, hold on, we've got these like people that you can go to with your worries or just studying and stuff like that. It was only until someone actually pulled you to the side and say, actually, you know what, there's support out there. I wouldn't have known.
yeah,
I would have had
no
to
one
do
ever
it.
pulled me.
So that's literally, sometimes it's just a case of, just leave them to it. And sometimes you kind of just need a bit of support.
For me, what I've experienced and what I've seen is that some people, in terms of careers and employment, have fallen into that job. It's not that their plans or, from school, this is where I want to be. I think majority of people are falling into a position.
Of course.
And as you said, if there's going to be cuts and whatever, it becomes cutthroat and they want to save their jobs and they get stressed. Now, I'm of a person, and the reason why I do what I do as a confidence coach is to get people to think about, actually, you've got one life. You need to think about what it is that you want to get out of your life.
100%.
That enjoyment.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
completely agree.
That's it. And if it means that you've got to go down the education route, so it gives you the backing to allow you to step into what it is that you want to do, then you're going to do that and you'll work hard. But to kill yourself to keep a job, to get a salary that doesn't even cover all your bills, to me it's like insane.
It doesn't make sense, but people are going to do it.
Yeah, of course, because people need to create their own sense of security sometimes where they can't see it happening any other way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need security. But even yesterday, I was talking to someone and they're like, why don't you just join this, and apply for jobs? I was like, I'm not doing it. They're like, why not? But you're a really great worker. Yeah, I know I'm a good worker. I know how good I am, right? And I will always be like that. However, I know what I don't like. And I don't like working for people. I like working with people. So where my opinion, my ideas and everything is mutually respected as much as yours is expected to be as well. Do you see what I mean? So I will, there's sometimes I'm teetering on insecurity and stuff, but the mental state is great because I know that do you know what, I can't come in this week because this is happening.
I'm very similar. Like, if I was to have a boss, he would have to have like 100 other employees. So it's not on me every day. I couldn't deal with that because you kind of just want to run away and hide sometimes. You just want to like hide behind the photocopiers. It's just a constant on your case. Like,
and it's benefiting who?
Yeah, it's never going to benefit you.
Yeah,
You understand?
exactly.
It's not you.
The funny thing is, my current position, I'm basically doing what you just said.
Okay.
I'm, as my line manager just put it, I'm the face of IT. That means take care of everything. Doing. I see it like this, right? You have to sometimes do the hard job, right, to get, like you're saying, do the hard job to get where you want to go, right?
Yeah.
But I'm no longer working to 2 a.m. or to 8 a.m. or 8 p.m., right? Because it's a sense of I know my value.
That's exactly it.
Company.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, sometimes when you climb that ladder, you can almost. Sometimes you can like, okay, I know like you said, you know your value, you know what you are worth to these individuals and to this company, so you can kind of like, guys, I'm trying to live now. I'm not gonna kill myself.
But I feel like this is where everyone, and I think if it's anything that I've taken from this chat, and anything that I want people to sort of think about is is there another path? Like, is there another option? Because I do believe, yes, 100%, there are, the tunnel that leads down to your university road is amazing for so many different professions out there. But as Hayley said, like, really and truly, there's so many other sort of job roles that need to be done. I definitely don't think that I would put a doctor above someone who works in retail, because like at the same time they're both doing a job equally as important in terms of, if we didn't have those in retail, in supermarkets, in the factory, wherever, like where would we be in do you know what I mean? Like so it's appreciation, I believe, goes
I think it's
goes all over.
I think it's difficult because you have to think of like the modernization of job roles. Certain roles are starting to become automated, and when you look at, like, for example, at McDonald's, you've got the kiosks. McDonald's would love to put kiosks in all their stores, just kiosks. The reason that they can't is because the backlash that they would have.
But that would happen for hospitals as well. So surgeries and so forth will be all mechanically done as well.
They have trial that, but they're kind of pulling away.
Yeah, they are, but it will happen.
Yeah, but
in terms of replacing a nurse, that will soon be done by machines and so forth.
You have to look on the totem pole, and it's like what I said of being a cutthroat. You don't want to be at the bottom of the totem pole. You want to be at the top.
At the end of the day, education is not always just about getting a job, as much as the system wants us to be that, and we all kind of said
when I
our
say
bit.
job, I mean like work, employment.
Yeah. Employment is not just the only way. And the thing for me is that employment, when you're working for somebody else, there's usually only so far you can go.
Yeah.
You know,
True.
So if you're happy to reach a certain part, some people are happy just sitting in a certain role.
Yeah, of course.
That will just get a certain money, you know. So if you feel that you're gonna keep having to like struggle hitting that wall because they keep moving the goalpost. Oh, now we need you to be able to do this skill, and you know things keep changing, because that's what's happening at the moment. When there's cuts, it's like, well, now your job role has changed. You've got to be able to do this now, and it's like, oh wow, I'm 50 years, I'm supposed to be retiring soon.
I would say it's better to have that problem than not to. It's better to be in the role and having to worry about keeping up than not being in the role.
No, but this is my thing. This is about choice. This is when you feel like
anxiety.
you haven't got a choice. You feel like you haven't got a choice. For me, everybody's got a choice. You can go and do something else, or you can start up something else. I'm not saying it's easy, but you don't have to remain in a situation that makes you unhappy.
I'd say with the introduction of more automation and technology sort of being more available to people, or even children, right? I see a lot more people becoming entrepreneurs and going down the road of entrepreneurship rather than job. You see, and the age getting younger and younger. So people 18 are saying, no, forget a job. I'm just gonna do my own thing.
A lot of these like, if you look at Snapchat, if you look at maybe a little less Facebook or Instagram, very, very rich, successful companies, but what it is, they tend to have smaller amount of employees than you look at, for example, a Ford or a company like that, where they employ thousands, like maybe hundreds of thousands. I'm not exactly sure, but Instagram, I'm not, just off the top of my head, maybe 400. I don't know. It's a lot less, but they're a lot richer. So what I'm saying is, like, these startups, they're employing less people, like especially with these information technology companies and stuff. A lot more successful, but the wealth is being narrowed, you know. But then to I guess a smaller, less amount of people.
With these Ford and God knows what, we've been hearing for years of them cutting jobs, relocating, doing all of that.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
and then because everything's changed now, like Ford used to be the car for whatever. Now, how many like Land Rovers you see out the door? Range Rover. Do you see what I mean? With
British Steel, who's just gone down the pattern. You know what I mean?
All these big things, and you know, they can say Brexit or whatever, but to be honest, there's been a lot of elements that have made this country less attractive to do business in, especially for big business. And also there's all this globalization and all of that was brought in, what was it? Not nationalization, the opposite, but privatization and all of that. So that has ruined a lot of stuff. And however, the education system hasn't shifted along in that pathway.
No, that's true.
Yeah, it hasn't changed.
It hasn't
very
changed
much.
as those industries have changed. And there's we need more coders. We need more what? Okay, but
It's
if they
not-
can't put something into Excel
Yeah, of course.
or write an email
Of
to
course.
tell what's going on,
It's
Yeah.
very,
you've then skipped something again.
they have their,
Yeah.
it's just full of intentions and not much execution.
No.
It's like, okay, we need this, we need more trendy jobs. I'm not saying trendy like they're not important, but they are. But I'm even saying that they're trying to do the whole trendy thing, like, yeah, we need this, we need that, but they're not actually doing it. You know, they're not putting their actions behind their words. It's just a lot of
Yeah, just
A lot,
jumping
yeah.
into it. It's like,
Yeah.
digital and creative. All the ones that are really proper digital and creative that have smart cities in Japan, China, wherever, right? Those people have been doing that from day. They've been studying it. They've been putting it into their children. Their technology is so much more advanced. You know, like even their brains are just.
But when they start educating their children, they say like 3 years old in nursery, they're giving them computers.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
It's not like,
But
oh
do you-
yeah, I need you to reinvent the wheel, like play with this. Tell
Yeah, but
me
do
how
you,
it
do you know
works.
it's not just that, like other sort of countries, what I've seen is from the younger years, not only do they academically teach them, I'm talking parents, teachers, that whole institution, they actually spend a lot of time developing them as people.
Yes.
You know, finding where their passion is. So whether it's playing an instrument or playing a particular sport, so they've got the academic side of them. They've got, I want you to be a lawyer or a teacher or a nurse or a physician, whatever it is. I want you to be this. But they have the balance of, which I think is that fun side, is that creative side to them that's still, do you know what? Yes, this job is stressful, but I can't wait till I go. Do you know what I mean?
I would say it depends on the culture, because certain cultures where it's a bit more like China, for example, is a huge competition to get far, and sometimes the creative side is killed. From time you enter the school institution, it's killed. It's not important. You need to be good at maths. You need to be good at science, and it's crammed. So I kind of feel it depends on the culture, and it tends to be if you're a culture that is, you know what they say, sometimes you can't find hunger in paradise.
A fix. I think what will happen, especially because where they've tunneled education, and it's ended with a lot of people, like suicide rates are ridiculously high, as it's been said. Mental health now more than ever is being acknowledged. I think eventually what will happen, and probably not very long, is that in schools they will encourage creativity, not always necessarily as a career, but because they'll keep it burning, because it's like a fact that sort of the creative fields, even if you're just doing it an hour's task at work, can just help relieve the stress.
Definitely.
So on a mental health basis, I think they will start channeling that back into all the way maybe from primary school, especially in secondary school. I think is important, so even if you drop it as a subject. But I think as a result, that will also keep the fire burning for some children who aren't academic. It'll be like a balance, but they'll do it on a mental health basis. But I think it can also benefit the children that are not academic to just keep that fire alive.
Yeah, I agree.
Makes sense.
There's not one fix,
No.
but I think the thing that kept coming up for me is that the classrooms are too big. You know, if you're gonna have bigger classrooms, then you need more support within the classrooms. You know, I think that in order to identify a passion for a child, they need attention. You know, they need to be given that time, that care, that support. If they're having difficulties not understanding or getting something, that the person's got time to give them what they need to work through and feel confident and move on. Because the moment a child feels dejected, they can't do it, they switch off. You know, it's about encouraging and keeping them going on. And so I think that smaller classes, but that same thing about support, so whether it's within the classroom but also outside the classroom.
Yeah.
Very well said. What were you saying?
Yeah, it's a hard one. I think for me, ultimately, we should take more responsibility of being educators and supporters of the education system. And not just from child level, even up to later on in life and things like that. As Ervince says, ask people what they like, what sparks them, what they're passionate about. And if you know of what is available, make the suggestion, because sometimes they may not know this, or they may not have heard of it. Even in business, we always get it all the time. We do networking, and you say, oh, I'm working on this, and somebody will bring something forward, and you're like, oh, I didn't know that. You see what I mean?
What is that job?
Yeah, and then it usually when somebody gives me that kind of information, I'll go look into it a bit more and realize, oh, this is beneficial to me or not. Most likely it is, because we've spoken to that level. So I think people need to talk a lot, and within the young ones in your families and your community who you can engage with, have good intentions, and just always inquire about them. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Where do you think it's going to lead you? And because when you question them and you realize their answers are not as informed as they should be or whatever, then that's where we then can build that education a bit further for them and ourselves as well.
Exactly.
Agreed.
I would say
The pressure's on you to solve it now. You're the man with the answers now.
I would say relevancy. I would say it's a big thing for me, at least. Sure, Mice and Men is probably a great book, but it's nothing more heartbreaking than people who get themselves into debt at the age of 22 and they'll be paying off until the age of Lord knows when. So for me, it's relevant skills, life skills that people need.
That's true. I agree with that.
And common sense.
And common sense.
Yeah.
Common sense ain't common.
Yeah, you can't get that from university.
Not very common.
So I think based on our chat, there's different aspects to this education system in whichever way we look at it, and there isn't just one fix, and there isn't just one problem. Obviously, we've all gone through the system, and we've all come out with different views, different opinions. We've all ended up in different places. Probably not places in which we initially wanted to end up, or maybe we've gone through a journey to end up in a place where we wanted to in the first place. So I think it's a conversation that we probably need to keep having outside of this, as you've all been saying. Other people just inquiring, challenging things. And I think this, the government is set up and should be set up for people like us who actually say, we do have an interest in the way that this is run. We do have ideas and opinions. And, I think once we start challenging things, like for instance, one teacher to 35 students or 30 students, how does that make sense? And then if, again, as you were saying, back to your days of geography, if it can then be rationalized, if it can then be proven and you can put a case forward and you go, actually, I didn't see it that way. But then if they actually are stumped by it and say, we do maybe need 2 support teachers in there with them, or maybe we do need, whatever it is, smaller classes, bigger schools, whatever it is. But maybe if we do continue this conversation with different individuals, I guess you still have to start from somewhere. But thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
It's been a deep one.
On next week's episode of Jay's Big Chat.
I'm not a black man, I'm a chocolate brown man.
No, we're not doing that.
I'm a caramel man.
We're not doing this conversation.
He's a brass brown.
We're not doing this today. We're not doing this today.
He's a brass brown. Listen, see, that's the problem. That's the problem. We're afraid to do it. We're afraid to do it.
We don't want to do it.
No, but that's the thing. We're afraid to do it. So then you take black then. You take black and you take colour. Because this is the opportunity to say what it is that you want to be referred to as. I want to be referred to have a milk chocolate, brown chocolate, toffee. You guys are not ready
Don't
yet.
do that.
I think it's an age
Don't
thing.
do
I
that.
think it's an
No,
age thing.
no,
I think it's an age thing. Like when you don't reach the 28 stage, yeah, then you kind of you're nearly there, Nathan.
Well,
You're nearly there.
I'll be honest, guys. I always call myself Golden Nugget.
Oh!
You know why? Because of the case. Yeah.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.